Hey, what's happening, guys? Dan Darrow here with another Options and Play video update. We are heading into the first week of June. It's a short trading week with the Memorial Day on Monday, so kind of like a consolidated few days of earnings, but actually a pretty busy lineup. And one of the things that started to notice somewhat this past week is that some of the tech names start to get paid. Good numbers led to good moves. So I don't know if that's just like a one-off or if it's kind of like the start of like a new pattern. So it'll be kind of interesting to see how it plays out because there are some real big tech names coming up this week. All right. So before the open and after the close on Monday, obviously nobody's scheduled because the markets are closed. Tuesday before the open, CGC. So about 375 is what's priced in. Um, Cannabis stocks, they've been showing some green shoots. Friday was a pretty good trading day for some of them. They are in the process, or they look to be in the process of turning the corner, but earnings, they're not always big events for CGC, and I feel like if it's good, it could really help the group get some momentum going. Um, some of the earnings in the cannabis space haven't been too pretty lately, so I guess I'm a little bit more cautious, but I mean, Tilray, ACB, Kronos, like there could be a handful of names that move with this. And if the numbers are decent, I mean, it could really keep momentum going there. So, we want to look at. After the close on Tuesday, this is when the tech starts going. So, Zoom, big name, priced in at about 29 points. I mean, you can see when I scroll out just how kind of out of play it's been. I mean, it hasn't been rewarded for earnings the last 2 quarters. I mean, the stock has been pretty steady, just trending lower since the high in the fall. I mean, I imagine it's going to be pretty solid, but I mean, work from home stocks, they just haven't been great in a while. So I think it needs to have a change of character for me to really want to get involved. And then like laying out the money on earnings, I feel like I just don't have the confidence in that type of setup right now. Like it would need to be good. The stock would need to like break through some lower levels, start to stabilize, get back above some big areas. So I don't have the conviction in the earnings play. I'll definitely be watching it, and then based off how it acts, maybe I'll put something on for a swing trade after. But I don't think I'm going to take any options in the earnings. APPS, so about 8 points is what's expected. It can occasionally be a mover. It's moved along with the trade desk for some stretches, so I mean it could be a pretty volatile quarter after the way trade desk played out. Way off its high, but it also has room lower too. I mean, this down to the 200 day is like almost like a 13-point drop. So I feel like it could actually set up pretty well for a volatility strategy. Actually, with the options priced in at 8, it seems like it might have room for like 10, maybe even more. Before they open on Wednesday, AAP, it's not really the only real name on Wednesday, but I haven't played this in a long time, and auto parts stocks are not a focus for me, so I'm leaving this alone. After the close on Wednesday, more software, AI, so about 10 points was expected, but those are monthly options. Um, it's beaten up, newer IPO. I thought maybe there'd be an oversold bounce ahead of the report, but it's still kind of struggling to turn the corner. Option pricing, it seems a little high just for earnings, but over like a 3 week time frame because they're monthly options, I feel like it could work, but again, I mean it kind of comes down to whether to take the risk into the print and look for a big immediate move, or maybe wait until after the print, let it kind of choose its direction, and then hop on for like a quick swing trade because I mean, it does have a history of moving. It's just whether or not like it's going to be a huge mover right on earnings, or can you get those options for a better price right after earnings? Right, that's the main question with AI. CLDR, so about $1.40 is what's
Test radio,
expected
test
here. Seems
radio.
like it could set up pretty well for a volatility strategy. Actually,
Hello, hello.
um, has a history of moving. It's been in a pretty tight range. Got gaps above, room below. So I feel like it might set up well for a volatility strategy. Elastic, about 14 points is what's expected on this one. Those are monthly options. It's not as much of an earnings name as maybe more of like a swing trade name. It's not really been in play recently either, and I think it makes more sense for me to wait and see what they say, see how the stock acts after earnings before I do anything with it. And then also Splunk. So about 10 points is what they're looking for. This stock has really been crushed, but it's also disappointed several quarters in a row. So it's kind of a tough call here. Seems like the expectations are low after the move it's had, but it's also kind of hard to be too positive on it after the last few reports. So it's kind of a toss-up setup to me. Maybe kind of a game time decision. For the open on Thursday, Sienna. So about 4 points is what they're looking for on Sienna. Um, this is kind of a wild card around earnings. Occasionally, it has huge swings. So like back at the end of last year, um, but then the past couple quarters has been kind of muted. So if it moves similar to what it was doing last year, then options look very underpriced. If it moves similar to what it's done the last 2 quarters, then options look fairly priced. So it might be one I look at for maybe like a speculative trade, just because it does occasionally have like a really big move, and if it does move in line with that, then options could leave some room. So it might be more of like a spec idea for me. Before the or after the close on Thursday, big tech night. Broadcom about 18 points is what they're expecting. I haven't traded this one a lot lately. In the semis, they were a little bit tougher money this quarter. So I probably won't trade it this week, but it could move like a Skyworks or a Corvo. So maybe like take a look at them as sympathy plays. CrowdStrike, big software name. About 16 points is what's priced in here. It's been a top name for a long time, and it still acts well. Zscaler, which is like a kind of a peer, had a pretty strong report this week, so I feel like that should be a good read-through for CrowdStrike. Expectations are definitely high, though, and it might be a little bit harder to lay out the money on the options, in my opinion. But maybe if it pulls back a bit earlier in the week, then I could look at something. Um, but we'll see how like the first few days go during the week. DocuSign, about 15 points is what's priced in on this. Very similar setup to Zoom. It's been acting similar too. And I feel like Zoom's report's probably going to impact DocuSign as well. So the option pricing seems kind of high based on how it's moved lately. So I guess I'll see how Zoom goes, see where DocuSign is, and then make a decision on this on Thursday. Mongodb, about 26 points is what's expected on this one. This one, it kind of trades a little bit more in line with like Elastic, which I talked about just a couple minutes ago, and Elastic's reported before it. It's in that high growth, high price category, so it's probably going to need a really strong report and strong reaction to break this recent like downtrend. Plus, it's been a little bit less consistent around earnings lately, so I might leave it alone unless like the action really improves on software during the week. PagerDuty. So about 6 points is what's priced in, but those are monthly options. Last quarter broke a broke a streak of huge moves around earnings, but maybe it gets back into that type of pattern this time around. Only has monthly contracts though, and that means options are more on the expensive side. So I think the only way I would approach it would involve getting risk down, just because all that time value can add up on the options. But I definitely do think it could be a mover. Lulu, big name, big retail name. About 20 points is what they're looking for. It's been kind of quiet lately. It really hasn't done a whole lot in 2021. Recent earnings, I feel like have been pretty solid. So maybe it needs just like another strong report to get it going, because it's really it hasn't been doing much of anything at all, even while a lot of other retailers have been flying around. But it might be something I look at for like a speculative bull idea, just to see if it can really turn the corner and start to come to life again. And then lastly on Thursday, Chargepoint. So about 2.5 points is what they're looking for on this EV charging name. I think it should be a mover. It's been beaten up, heavily shorted. It moved close to 5 last quarter actually, and it seems like a setup where it should move again. So I think it might be a decent volatility strategy candidate, especially as the week wears on. And then Friday, nothing. So that's it. But short week, only 4 trading days. But I mean, some big names like crammed in there. So I mean, after the way this week played out, I feel like it's just going to be a busy few days. All right. So first off, enjoy the long weekend. Safe travels. Hope you enjoy the kickoff to summer and the time with your family and friends. If you like this video and you're looking for more information on trading earnings, or as we get into the summer and it's more of like a swing trade environment, if you're looking for like information about swing trading and managing options, please follow up with the link in the description of the video for more information on options to play. Again, have a wonderful weekend. I will talk to you all on Tuesday.